Hello, so today we'll discuss about the living world. So you might have seen around us there is greenery, then there are living organisms, there is a garden, parks, so all over greenery is there. So see how wonderful is the living world. So in this living world, you will see there are a number of living organisms also. So if we'll see, and along with that there are some extraordinary habitats like cold mountains are there, deciduous forests are there, oceans, freshwater lakes, then deserts, hot springs, right? So this constitutes all our living world. So then around us we have, let's say, if I talk about living organisms, horse, the beauty of a galloping horse, migrating birds, then flowering plants are there. Okay, so this makes us our living world wonderful. So these all living organisms. So here in this chapter, we'll discuss about diversity in the living world and taxonomic categories. Taxa is another word for category. So in diversity means biodiversity. So here there comes a term biodiversity. So bio means life and diversity means variety. So that means there is a variety of life forms existing on earth. So what this biodiversity do? It maintains the ecological balance. Now how this ecological balance is maintained? With the help of food chain. You might have heard about food chain, like how first a herbivore eats grass, plants, then it is eaten by carnivorous like lion, tiger. Then when a lion dies, then those flies feed on that dead body. So the flies, they feed on the corpse. Corpse is another term for dead organism. Okay, so this is basically a food chain, like how it maintains the ecological balance, biodiversity. So here we have variety of life forms. Then it maintains the ecological balance. Ecological means the balance in our nature. So now if we need to preserve this biodiversity, preserve means if we need to protect this biodiversity. So now you might be knowing that there are a number of species is a term, like when we use let's say there are, if I say like example, dog has a number of variety, like German Shepherd is there, then Labrador is there, then some another dog type. Okay, so then there are some types of dogs. So these are basically what species only. So now to preserve this biodiversity, we need to protect these species, so that species shouldn't be extinct. Extinct means that they shouldn't be finished. The species should not be extinct. We need to protect those species to preserve the biodiversity. Okay, then in taxonomic categories we'll study about nomenclature and identification. After that, binomial. Bi means two, mono means one. We study about binomial nomenclature. Then here are some rules to name the binomial nomenclature. Then classification of living organisms. What is the basis of classification? Why there is a need to classify? Then at last comes taxa, and along with taxa, systematics. Okay, now coming to nomenclature. Nomenclature and identification. So basically, what is a nomenclature? Nomenclature means the system of naming. If I say in layman language, it's the system of naming. For example, let's say there is a class of students, right? Let's say here we have, so I'm just taking an example. We have a number of students in a class. So now each student has a different name, right? Let's say name of this student is Sunil, name of this student is Rahul, name of this student is Priyanka. So every student has different name. Now why, if I say his name is also Sunil, his name is also Sunil, his name is also Sunil, so that will be difficult for us to identify which Sunil I'm talking about. So that is why we need a particular name for a particular person. So similarly, in case of living organisms, process of naming living organisms such that a particular organism is same all over the world. So we need to name the living organisms such that its name will be same all over the world, like universally it will be same. Let's say I take the example of a pen. Okay, for example, I take an object pen. Now in Bengali, this pen is called Kolom. This is just for reference. This is not related to living organisms. This is just for reference. Then let's say in English we call this as pen only, and in Hindi we call, let's say in Hindi we call it kalam, right? So this word pen has different names in various areas. So now if someone knows Hindi and he doesn't know Bengali, it will be difficult for him what is kolom, right? So there should be a standard name which is same throughout the universe, like everyone should know that this is a pen. Now let's say if I draw a fruit here. Now let's say if a person knows English, right? So he'll say that this is a mango. Now let's say if a person knows Hindi, he will say this is aam, and in Punjabi this is right? So you see it has different names in various languages. So now we need a name which is same throughout the world. So here the name which is same throughout the world will be, now this is written in italics, the scientific name. Now this is here comes the scientific name of mango. Mangifera indica. So this is the name which is same throughout the world. So this is what nomenclature is, that the name should be same throughout the world. So now coming to identification, so before describing an organism correctly, so that the organism can be named, so first we need to identify whether it is correct or not. So first we have identification, then comes the nomenclature. Identification means like we have to describe an organism correctly so that we can give its name. So if you look around, you'll see a large variety of living organisms, be it in potted plants, insects, birds, your pets, or other plants and animals. So these constitute our diversity in the living world. So each different kind of plant, animal, organism that you see represent a species. So the number of species that are known and described, and the range is between 1.7 to 1.8 million. There are number of species. So this refers to biodiversity, or the number of and types of organisms present on Earth. So there is, so coming then nomenclature. So there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. Now coming to identification, so nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly. Now scientific names, they are based on agreed principles and criteria. Now these scientific names these are provided in international ICBN. ICBN stands for International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. This comes in objective type questions. What's the full form of ICBN? Then this is for like plants, botany, botanical related to botany, plants, and for animals we have ICZN, that is International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. Zoological means like zoology. You might have heard about zoology is a subject that is related to animals. It's about study of animals. So the scientific names ensure that each organism has only one name. Like one particular organism, like the name of one particular organism cannot be repeated. Okay, then so there are some universally accepted principles to provide the scientific name. So we have a system of providing a name with two components, and that we have a system for these scientific names, and that system is called binomial nomenclature. So now basically it is a system of naming, and this was given by Carolus Linnaeus. So Carolus Linnaeus gave this system of binomial nomenclature. So bi means two, so each name has two components. Each name has two components, and those components are generic name and specific epithet. Now let's say I take the example of a tiger. Now tiger, like somewhere, like some is somewhere is called tiger. Like if you go in Bengal, it's called bagh there, right? So the scientific name of tiger is Panthera tigris. You will go in any part of the world, it will remain the same. Panthera tigris. So here this is the generic name and this is the specific epithet. Now here are some rules. There are some rules for naming of nomenclature. Okay, so rules we'll discuss later. Okay dear, thank you.